Hi there, Jack here from Bridge Coffee Roasters, and today we're going to show you how to get started brewing a large batch of coffee on your Marco QwikBrew. So the QwikBrew is a really easy to use commercial size filter coffee maker. It's going to brew up to 5 liters of coffee at any one time and then store it hot inside the basin until it's ready to serve at the nozzle down below. So your brew basket is sat right at the top underneath a shower screen, and that's going to push hot water through the bed of coffee in one long continuous pour. The brewed coffee will then drip down into the basin through a metal filter, which will catch any coffee grounds that might have made it through. The coffee is then going to be stored in the basin inside the machine, which is heated. So it's going to keep that coffee nice and hot until it's ready to serve using the nozzle at the front. At the front of the machine, there's also a light and a little window that will show you how much coffee you have left to serve. Once you've brewed your coffee, you can then use the coffee tap at the front of the QwikBrew to dispense coffee straight into your mug. And it's also a combination hot water boiler as well. So you get another tap on the left-hand side for you to dispense boiling water for your teas or your hot chocolates, or just to dilute the coffee down a little bit. So the QwikBrew is plumbed straight into your main water line. So there's not a huge amount of setup needed for each brew. You just load your coffee and the filter paper into the basket at the top and then hit any one of the 3 brewing buttons. So the QwikBrew has an incredibly simple user interface. You have 4 buttons on the front of the machine. So at the bottom, you've got a power with a red light to show that it's on and a green light to show that it's reached temperature. And then buttons 1, 2, and 3 are your brew buttons. So button 1 is a 3-liter batch. Button 2 is to brew 5 liters of coffee. And button 3 is for a 1-liter brew. So you can use that to make a small batch, but its main purpose is to clean and rinse the machine at the end of the day. So as a quick demonstration, I'm going to brew a 3-liter batch using the Marco QwikBrew. So firstly, you want to grab your basket from on top of the machine, and inside the basket there's a little cage to help keep your filter paper in place. I'm just going to lift up those flaps, grab a filter paper and place it down inside the basket, and then lock those down to hold the filter in place. Then I'm going to weigh and grind 180 grams of coffee. So for the QwikBrew, we're going to recommend a ratio of 60 grams per liter. So for a 3-liter batch, that's going to be 180 grams of coffee. For a 5-liter batch, that would be 300 grams. And if you wanted to do a 1-liter batch, that would just be 60 grams. Once you've got your grounds inside the basket, just give it a quick shake to level out the bed and break up any clumps. And lock it back into place and push it as far back as you can. And then we're going to start the brew. So if you're brewing a 3-liter batch, the QwikBrew is going to take around 4.5 minutes to pump all the water through. And for a 5-liter batch, that will take about 9 minutes. So the water is now being dispensed over the bed of coffee in one long continuous pour. And the coffee is going to flow out of the basket and then down through a metal mesh filter. And that will just catch any grounds that might have escaped the brew basket. And then it will just go down into the basin below to keep hot until it's ready to serve. So when coffee has stopped dripping through, you know that the brew is finished. Once you've served and run out of coffee, you can then start another brew if you need more, or you can start breaking down the machine and clean it for the end of the day. To do that, all you need to do is open the coffee tap just to make sure there's no coffee left over. Remove your brew basket and dispose of the coffee, and then rinse both the basket itself and the lid to the basin. What you can then do is use button number 3 to add a liter of hot water into the basin. Add a little bit of coffee cleaning powder and use a brush to scrub down the inside of the basin. Flush that water through using the coffee tap, making sure to get all of that out of there. And then hit button number 3 again just to add 1 more liter of clean water just to flush through the machine. So the QwikBrew is a really simple and intuitive machine to use to brew a large amount of filter coffee at any one time. So it's great for those kind of scenarios where you don't need something that's beautiful, you just need a machine that can provide a lot of coffee at once. Like in an office kitchen, for example, where staff can help themselves to a fresh pot of coffee first thing in the morning, or they can use the boiler feature and the hot water tap at the front to make themselves a cup of tea. Because it's so easy to use, it really doesn't offer much in terms of customization and features. So if you're looking for something in a similar price range, but that can offer a nice level of customization in terms of brew recipes and temperatures, then check out our previous video on the Jet by Marco. So if you want to learn more about the QwikBrew, then hit the first link in the description that will take you to our website. And if you still have any more questions, then feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video.